best. But yeah, good afternoon as well as good morning. I see there are some attendees from Canada, which is great to see. My name's Robert Broszkowicz. I'm the senior floating wind specialist at Corio. And I'll give you a quick introduction to Corio. I appreciate I'm the penultimate, I think, presenter from the partners, so I'm not going to take too long. But this something we're doing here is very close to my heart. Before joining Corio, I spent 8 years in a research organization here in UK, and a lot of my time was talking and working together with innovative solutions and trying to get them into the offshore wind market, whether that was new ideas completely and new startups, or whether that was existing technology applied in a different industry and we were moving it across. So very keen to see what comes out of this. So if we go to the next slide, please. Just a quick introduction who we are, Corio. We are a relatively new global offshore wind developer. Having said that, we got one of the largest pipelines out there. So it's over 30 gigawatts now. We've grown very quickly from just over 100 people kind of at the second quarter of last year to over 300 people now. And we work at the projects wherever there is an opportunity for offshore wind, we go there. So it's very worldwide, but I'll show that in a moment. And we only look at offshore wind, so bottom fixed wind and floating wind. If we can move on to the next slide, please. So I mentioned that we are quite new organization, and Corio itself was established in April last year, but we actually go back quite a bit. So our roots stem from the Green Investment Bank, which was a bank set up here in the UK to support renewable projects. And that got bought over by Macquarie and then changed the name to the Green Investment Group. And then eventually Corio was set up as a portfolio organization to look after all the offshore wind initiatives that Green Investment Group and Macquarie had. And if you look back, actually, that means that we've been involved in something like 80% of all the offshore wind projects here in the UK, which is the second largest market for offshore wind in the world after China. We go on to the next slide, please. That's just a quick snapshot of our activities. It obviously shows fixed and floating at a different stages of development. Obviously highlighted here Norway and Norwegian Wind, where we've partnered with All Energy. But you can see that, as I mentioned, we're a global organization. We've got strong roots in Australia with Macquarie, and obviously we're active there. We've got multiple offices in Asia, in Taiwan and Korea. And we hope that our Korean project, Greywell 3, will be one of the first, if not the first, commercial scale floating wind development. But we'll see with that. And there's a lot of projects also across the pond in the US. And quite a few of these are actually we're developing together with Total and other partners, which I think could be beneficial for this program as well. Move on to the next slide, please. So yeah, our partnerships. So obviously in Norway, we are with Energy, and the way we really select who we're going to work with, we combine the kind of the global expertise and know-how that we have in offshore wind, as well as good financial backing that Macquarie brings with the local knowledge. And that's obviously what All Energy gives us, as well as other things in Norway. But you can see some other organizations that we have partnered with, Total Energies and Quair and Q Energy, Hyperion. And I think that's beneficial, because what we're going to do here, we're very keen for the technologies and innovations to be applied, not just in Norway, but across the world. And we're happy to expose that also, to our partners in other projects and in other markets. And I hope, that's also obviously the aim of NOV, as well as the technology developers. We've got a kind of a history, obviously, with Macquarie as an investment coming in, developing, selling off, but we also now have a collaboration with Ontario's Teachers Pension Fund, and there is obviously a slightly different approach. So it's not just about developing and selling off projects. We, depending on the project, we could hold on to the project and look after it for its lifetime. We are relatively small organizations. We will never be doing the O&M ourselves, but nevertheless, we are very much interested in O&M solutions that we can adopt and say, okay, well, whoever is doing the O&M third party for us, that they take these solutions and implement in their strategy. Next slide, please. Which is probably the last slide from us. Yeah. So driving innovation, that's really what we're talking here. And you know, this is, as I mentioned, something in my DNA, something in my background, and so it is for Corio as well. We are partners, and we were the members who established the Centre of Excellence for Floating Wind here in the UK, which is kind of leading joint industry project for floating wind with 20 partners and the UK government. And there we do innovation challenges as well. We are part of different GIPs, whether that's DNV looking at floating wind moorings and dynamic cables or concrete substructures, as well as offshore wind innovation roadmaps and cost reduction. So very much watch this space, looking forward to launching some of the innovations and working with you in bringing down the cost of floating wind, because yes, we're at the beginning of journey. There's quite a bit to be done, but I feel that by coming together, both not just innovators and developers, but also between the developers, we've got a very bright future for the offshore wind and floating wind specifically. Thank you.